If you're an ADA holder like me, you've been waiting, wondering, when is Grayscale going to add Cardano? Well, the day has arrived. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. This is really big news for Cardano. It really is. This is something we've been just talking about for so long, and it is here. ADA plus Grayscale. Grayscale welcomes Cardano. And real quick, I know there's a lot of people who might not even know what Grayscale is. I want to just get this out of the way. Grayscale Investments is the world's largest digital currency asset manager with approximately $46 billion asset under management. Through its family of investment products, Grayscale provides access and exposure to the digital currency asset class in the form of a traditional security without the challenges of buying, storing, and safekeeping digital currencies directly. So this is an exposure instrument to larger money. And I want to go back to this and I really want to dig into why this is big news. Now, I think everyone's instinct actually is to go to this chart. It's the USD chart and see what price is doing. You know, here's a daily chart. And we can even use back in March. I don't know if you remember this or not, but back in March, the Coinbase Pro listing, something we also were waiting for. We got an initial pump because of the Coinbase Pro listing. You know, a lot of people just waiting for Cardano to go to the moon. And actually, just the opposite kind of happened. Cardano with a really big drop back to the dollar area. The reason I bring that up is because you have to be very careful when you're taking big news like this and you're trying to work it into the short-term charts. And this is here's a very messy 6 hour. And you can see nothing crazy has actually happened. And I just want to kind of preface this video and the news by saying that's okay. What's really important is what sits here on the weekly. Grayscale, and we're going to talk about why. Grayscale, I think, noticing and big money going to really be waking up to what is actually happening with Cardano and why Cardano truly is one of the best investments in the crypto space. I've been saying it for a while, and it's kind of demonstrated in today's news. And you might be like, well, Dan, I mean, why is that such a big deal? I mean, there's a lot of cryptos on Grayscale. So let's talk about that. This is an article, just from, very recently. This news just came out in the last few hours. Grayscale, the world's leading digital asset management fund, revealed that it had rebalanced its portfolio in a way where Cardano's ADA is now the company's third largest holding. That is extremely, extremely big news. And if we scroll down here, you can see this is what it kind of looks like. Assets under management. Out of nowhere, Cardano on Grayscale, number 3 biggest holding. Obviously, Bitcoin the largest at 67%, Ethereum 25%, Cardano for over 4%. And we scroll down, there's more than just this list here, but you look at things like Litecoin, Chainlink, not even really at 1%. All of a sudden, Cardano out of nowhere, number 3, 4.26%. And there's a very, very good possibility that will increase. Now, what I want to add is we've talked about this market share opportunity for Cardano as smart contracts are on the way. And I think this is just one facet. This is just one angle that Grayscale sees as well. So kind of going back over to this article, the purpose of the fund is to enable investors to get exposure to cryptocurrencies with the largest market caps. The fund is assessed quarterly in terms of adding or removing coins, but weightings are changed on a daily basis. So this is something we're going to be able to track on this Grayscale fund. The world's leading digital asset manager has adjusted the portfolio of the Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund by selling certain amounts of existing fund components in proportion to their respective weightings and using the cash proceeds to purchase Cardano. That says so much. That sentence says so much. And this image really visualizes that. Cardano sitting at number 3. So it's really big news. I wanted to kind of cover it. I wanted to go back over here to the weekly chart and discuss. We did a video the other day, and I talked about, Ethereum. Ethereum is up here around $500 billion market cap, right? So, and it's not right now, but it was. And for Cardano to see a similar market cap, and it rightfully could, Cardano is way ahead of the game, technologically speaking, in terms of what they're building. Smart contracts now getting ready to be released in really the next couple of months. The staking mechanism that Cardano has and has had since, basically last summer is absolutely incredible, efficient, secure, decentralized, working, paying all of your rewards. And the ecosystem Cardano is building, there's no reason why Cardano can't reach a $500 billion market cap. At the very least, we discussed that. And right now, that would be a $15 Cardano. And I'm not saying this is happening, this week, this month, even this year. I'm not saying that. It's just we have this Ethereum data point. Ethereum reached this. And Cardano building something, in my opinion, greater, more secure, more robust, more scalable. And so we have that. And then we have the $1 trillion question, right? When is that market cap going to arrive? That would be a 22x around from where Cardano is right now. That would equal a $31 Cardano. Now, Cardano is sitting at $1.35 as this news is announced. And the reason I'm bringing up this chart is because this is just the very beginning. Everything that's happening here is the very beginning of Cardano. Notice this chart. It goes back to the top of the last bull market. There's not much data on this chart because Cardano is such a new crypto. But what has been built by IOHK and the team over at Cardano is absolutely insane from an infrastructure perspective. And what is getting ready, I think, to be built on top of Cardano and on top of this blockchain. And we're talking about across the globe. I'm not even just talking about different crypto projects that you might be aware of that we've covered on this channel. I'm just talking about across the globe, world economies, what is available to be built on Cardano, and I think will be over the years to come. The opportunity is there. And so you kind of tie in all of this stuff that, we've been talking about so much on this YouTube channel. You tie it all together, and you look at the possibilities in terms of price upside alone, but you start wondering, well, why did Grayscale decide to put this at number 3? And, why did they get that much exposure right off the bat? And I really think, and I've only touched on just a few things, but I really think these are some of those things. These are some of those big reasons why Grayscale has decided to do that. At the very least, it's awesome to finally be able to tweet this, ADA plus Grayscale. We've speculated on it so much, and over the course of months, we speculated on Africa, we speculated on Coinbase, we speculated on Grayscale, we've speculated on so many different things, Celsius, right? And it's cool to see these things kind of come into fruition. Obviously not Celsius just yet, but we have Grayscale on board. The exposure is there. I really anticipate big money going to be pouring into Cardano over the months ahead, over the years ahead. And, this is just a very fine example of the beginning of that. And that is truly where Cardano is. We're at the beginning. I think that. I really do, as all of this is being built. So zoom out on the charts. The zoomed in charts, they get messy, obviously. Cardano's up a little bit, but right off the bat, I wouldn't be concerned that we're not getting this crazy, wow, this was big news. Why isn't price going up? This is why. You have to give these things time for the charts to play out. This is extremely bullish for the long-term trend of Cardano. And then we zoom out, and here we are. So wanted to cover this news real quick. I appreciate all of you. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.